Oh, what's up? All right. So, whew, this has been a challenge, and my brain is on the fritz. So, give me a minute. I'm trying to get my thoughts together. So, bear with me a little bit. I'm trying to get my thoughts together. Just said it. But, all right. So, if you haven't subscribed, do it if you want to. And for those who have subscribed, thank you, thank you, thank you so very much. All right. So, as you can see, I'm on the computer. And this is the easier of the videos to make, so I figured I'd just start here. Yeah, let me start here because this would be a lot easier for me to do than if I try to do the other one first. That's just way too much information. I have to get order list, I gotta get parts list, then I got to figure out how I need to tell you how to put the parts together. It's a little much. Then I have to figure out how I want to tell you how to put the parts on, if you want to put them on, how you want to put them on. It's I have to figure that out, and my brain's on a fritz right now. I'm about ready to have a on my function movements. I'm about ready to have a tick. I call them a tick. I'm probably a seizure somewhere in there somewhere, and I'm trying to fight them off. So my brain's on the fritz. I'm trying to keep my sanity. All right, so here I go with this part of it. So first up, as you can see, I have some prints down here. Yeah, I hope you can see that cursor. I have these prints down here. These are some prints I have that I printed out, and these are all 14 by 40. And then, as you can see, I have my 7. I need to change that. It's actually 720s, not 740. I really need to change that name. Let me change that right now while I'm showing you. So, if you want to change the name of your ink word of your queue, double click it, and then when it decides it wants to load, the name changes right there. You just hit OK, and it changed it. All right, so that's that. Because I don't want to change anything else here, I'm going to do this bad boy right here. We're going to focus on this. Now, the first thing you want to change actually has nothing to do with CAD-Link. The first thing you want to change is actually in my computer, in your settings. And it is right here. So, like I said, the first thing you want to change, the first thing you want to change is not even here in CAD-Link. The first thing you want to change is actually here on the computer. In printers and scanners. I don't have my computer connected right now. My printer connected because I'm not by my printer. But you can still see the settings I need you to change. First thing I want you to change is actually this setting right here. I hear people go, "Oh, CAD-Link said this and CAD-Link said that." I don't know where CAD-Link get this from, and I don't know why CAD-Link told me this, and I'm not sure why. But I've been every time I try to get a hold of CAD-Link to ask them this question. I don't want to mess this up. My tech support when I bought CAD-Link ran out because I called them and I used it up in the first I want to say 2 days or 3 days. I used it all up. It was like an hour or 2 hours, whatever it is, and I used it all up. So if I call CAD-Link right now, they're gonna tell me go to hell. CAD-Link don't know exist. So I'm not supported by CAD-Link in any way, shape, or form. So if I call CAD-Link, they're gonna tell me go to hell and pay them. So I don't know why CAD-Link told me this, but I've noticed personally, this is my personal experience. I don't know about anybody else, but my personal experience. Oh, I'm gonna make this video shorter. I'm gonna make a video of just the settings. No time. I'm gonna just for people who watch this video and don't want all this explanation again. You watch the video before, you don't want explanation, you just want just the directions. I'm gonna cut out all this and just put just the directions. And that way you can just have just the directions. If you want to just forget what you needed to do and just want to watch just the directions, then I'm gonna make a shorter video with just the directions. So that way you don't have to watch this long, lengthy video or try to skip around and find what you need to do. So I'm gonna make one with just the directions. But this one is gonna explain why all this stuff is in here. And I love to give information. Without information, you tend to do stupid stuff and you don't know why you're doing it. And then you end up messing stuff up and then you wonder why stuff went wrong. And I don't like to give bad information. So this is why I do what I do. Again, you don't have to follow me, follow whoever you want to follow, but if you want information, well, here it is. All right. Now, with Catalink, like I was saying, this thing here, I've noticed when I change my settings here in this settings, it actually changes all my printer prints. And I'm not sure why Catalink said this doesn't affect your printer, because it really does affect how your printer prints. It does, 100%. And I'm not sure why Catalink say it doesn't, but it does. It really, 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 really does affect your printer. If you don't believe me, that's up to you. And if you don't believe me, try it. Change. Don't do anything. Don't follow none of my steps. Just go in here, change one of this on your printer setting, and print something. And you see if your printer setting, if your printer don't start printing differently from this setting. And it really makes a huge difference. So I've done these setting changes in mine. And this will make your printer prints a lot nicer, especially with your image qualities. With the 1440, you're going to want these settings. I'm telling you, I'm over the moon with how the stuff's printing. You don't have to believe me. You do you. I'm just giving you information. You do what you want with it. Get dump it in the garbage. You never have to watch this again. The choice is yours. Now, so I change my settings from, I still use plain paper because I notice if you choose out, I don't want to print a lot slower. And it really doesn't make a difference. With 1440, you don't need to go high quality prints. With the 720, you need that higher quality print to get really. Someone asked me a while back one of my older videos how my prints look so clean. Well, when I was using the 720 printouts, what I used to do was I used to use Photo Glossy. And I used to use Photo Glossy. And don't display this again. Whatever. I used to use Photo Glossy and then I change it to high. And this will make my printer print photo images with Catalink. Beautiful images. It just prints slow. And the printer would overheat just like the same problem I was having. It just prints slower. I don't mind it prints slower as long as my prints come out beautiful. That's all I cared about. Beautiful photo quality prints, and I used to get them with this setting with the 720. So if anybody wants to keep printing 720, that's the setting. Photo Glossy, high, and you're good to go. Your printer will print beautiful prints on 720. Guaranteed. Now, but because we're going to use 1440 by 1440, we don't need that. We want nice, quick, fast prints, but getting that same photo quality prints out of it. So we're going to go same high, but we're going to switch back to plain paper. Again, we don't need this. We don't need that. We want to go back to high. We don't need best. You can use best if you want to, which we'll see. You have the option is to choose best. Right here, you can choose best. You don't need it. High is plenty good. Plenty good. I'm telling you, you don't need best. Plenty good is high. High is plenty good. You don't need best. High. The reason why I don't need best, because best actually it's gonna print slower. It's gonna slow down how fast the printer prints because they have to dump more ink, and it has to slow down to get a better quality print. You don't need that. You're already printing a pretty high resolution, 1440 by 1440. You almost double the resolution it's printing from the 720. All right, almost doubled. You don't need all that. So we're gonna go. Actually, it is doubled. Yeah, it's actually a little more than double, but. I'm not going to we ain't do no math right now. My brain's already on the fritz. Okay. So we're going to do high. Trust me, you don't need no more than high. And the plain paper, plenty good. All right, then we're going to go to see auto and then use document size user defined. That's perfectly fine. Everything else is fine. You don't have to change anything else. Everything else is fine. Just this and this, you want to make sure that says the same thing. Everything else is fine. You can change this user defined if you want to. I did. It don't make a difference, but I did. It just makes me feel better. All right, then I go over to more options, as you can see here, and I've changed my options to custom. Again, CAD-Link said don't affect it, but I'm telling you, I've noticed a huge difference in everything I've done when I make these changes. Huge difference. You don't have to believe me. You can do what you do. But if you want the quality stuff I'm printing and you see some of the quality stuff I've printed, I've showed you. There's a video with all my quality prints, and you will see them. Every time I load my computer, every time I load my printers, I change these settings. I'm not trying to tell you not no nonsense. You do you. I'm just giving you information. You follow them if you want to. If you don't, that's just your choice. But don't complain to me when you're not getting the quality prints I'm getting. Then I go advanced and I change it to no color adjustments. The reason why I do no color adjustments is because CAD-Link already have CAD-Link already, to me, again, this is my personal opinion. You can have whatever opinion you want, but this is my opinion. CAD-Link already have, to me, the best color profile when it comes to prints. I haven't had to change. This was printed literally on those color profiles. All right, this print right here, CAD-Link color profiles. I don't change CAD-Link color profiles. I don't touch them for anything. Their color profiles are spot on. I have not changed CAD-Link color profiles. I've done, I don't know who doing them, but whoever did them, and I've changed, and you see I've used all different kind of inks, and the color profiles are spot on. I have not had to change the color profiles. CAD-Link, I don't know who's done it. And this is why I recommend them so much over all the other programs that I've. Well, I only have to use one. I've never tried any other one. If somebody else want to send me one to try, I'll be more than happy to try it. But that's why I recommend CAD-Link. I'm not sponsored by them. They don't even know I exist. Like I said, if I call them, they're going to tell me go to hell. But I have no reason to recommend anybody else. None. One, I haven't tried it. Well, actually, I tried another program. I have to make that video. It's a video from a printer. If you watch my printer video, that one printer I bought, I tried that. There's a program in there that came with that printer. Tried that. That was garbage too. And I tried AccuRip. So I did try two other printer programs, two other RIP programs, and they were horrible. So I did try that. So CAD-Link, and I went right back to CAD-Link. So like I said, CAD-Link, great color profiles. It's just so much in that program that it's worth the money in the long run. It's just worth what they're asking for. To me personally, I don't know about anybody else, but to me, my opinion, is worth it. Right? And you get the constant updates. They're constantly tweaking it, constantly updating it. You can buy all. If you really want to, you can always add on pieces to it. When your business grow, you don't have to buy the whole CAD-Link. You just buy patches on, added ons. It's a better business model than all the other ones, in my opinion. It's still expensive. Don't get me wrong. They're expensive, and I think some of what they're doing is kind of stupid. Again, not my company. They do them. If they want to drive it to the ground, that's their choice. I think they could have. There's room for improvement, but it's still better than the options that are out there. My personal opinion. You're free to believe whatever. All right. Now let's move on from that. So now I'm choose no color adjustment. Hit OK. Now we'll go to maintenance. Oh, bidirection. Make sure you have bidirection turned on, because you need bidirection. You need bidirectional printing. I know people might say, "Oh, well, you don't need yeah, you need bidirectional printing on." For 1440 by 1440, you want to make sure bidirectional printing is turned on because you're going to need it. All right, this is what makes it that's what add that pièce de résistance on your 1440 by 1440 prints. I'm telling you, you want that on, leave that on, make sure that bad boy's on. All right. Then you go to maintenance. Then you're going to go over to extended maintenance settings and check. I check those two. You don't have to check them. I check them because I want to check them. I like to have the thick paper envelope turned on. That's just something I like to do. That check one, the thick paper envelope, this one right here, that helps a lot with head strikes. If you don't want to have head strikes and your papers and you set your printer up just right, like I set up my printer just right, and my sheets, and I do all my stuff, which I need to, oh my goodness, I keep forgetting, I need to make that video up. My brain, my head's in the fog. I apologize, my head's in the fog. I have been fighting I've been trying not to have a seizure attack. And that's my goal for the past couple of days, just to not have a seizure attack. And I had one the other day, and they're when I do have them, they're extremely violent, and I try not to have them, but I can't help not to have them. So let's not go there. All right. So let's get back to this one. Okay, the thick paper and envelopes. That one, how I have my printer set up. Again, with your sheets and your sheets and your printer setup and your print heads and your top open and all that stuff. All that stuff makes it. I cannot stress this enough. When you buy your printers and you do your conversions, please, 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 please do not touch those print heads. Do not open the caps. Do not modify them. Do not touch them. Don't change anything in them. Don't do anything to those print heads. Don't make no stupid adjustments on them. Don't do anything to them. I don't touch my print heads anymore. When I say I don't touch them, I don't touch them for nothing. All my conversions are done outside the print heads. I've done, and see, I need to make another conversion video. Oh my goodness. Okay, so don't touch your print heads. Just leave it at that. Just when you get the printers, do not do anything to that print head. However Epson aligns it, just don't touch it. Just leave it. Don't touch it. I cannot put enough stress on that. Just don't touch it. Turn on that thick paper thing, and you'll be all right. Don't touch it. Okay? Okay. Now, check paper with that for printing. I just turned this one on. And the reason why I turned this one on is because I noticed my prints weren't centered on the sheet. And I was wondering why my prints weren't centered on the sheets, and I'm trying to figure out why. And just out of the blue, I turned that on. I got in there and I just turned it on. And I just turned it on like not even a month ago. And now my prints are actually centered on the sheets. Because of that. That little check paperwork for printing. That stupid little thing. Weird, huh? So if you want your prints to center, if you don't care about it, you don't have to check it. That's a total option. I check it because I want my prints to be centered on my sheets. So if I'm printing big, small, whatever, wherever I place it on my sheet, when I'm printing, that's where I want it to print on my sheet. So when I check that, what it does, it checks the sheet, and then it places it right where I tell it to put it on the sheet. If it's not there, it will just it does whatever just to make sure paper is in there, and it just just prints. And wherever it lands. So with that check, what it do is it checks the sheet. So if you have a nice big print, it will actually place that image right in the center of the sheet. Your sheet won't be off one side or the other side. It will just put it right in the middle. And I've noticed that really, really helps. So kudos to that, Mark. And again, you don't have to check it. That's a total option. I use it because I like it. All right. And that's done for that thing. If you really, really, really want to, you can actually reduce paper. So I don't do it. CADLink don't need it. And I've noticed I run into a problem with that stupid thing. CADLink does this, the printer does this weird thing where the print engine kind of just stops. I noticed it runs into a problem, so I turn it off. You can leave it on if you want to. If you don't have a problem, if you have a problem with it, you can turn it back on. If you don't have a problem with it, you can leave it on. I don't care. That's you. I turn mine off. I don't want it on. I want CADLink to just have a full unfettered access to my printer. So I tell it to just don't reduce anything. Just let CADLink have fun with the printer. So I turn that off. All right, you can do what you want to do. And that's it. That's all I do here. And then I hit OK, close that. And then that's the changes you have to make to your Epson 8550 print drivers on your computer in settings. You have to make those settings. If you don't want to make them, then you deal with what you deal with. I don't blame me because I tell you what you need to do. All right. If you don't do it, that's on you. So you close that. Back to the thing. Now we're going to open up CADLink. Now we're in CADLink. All right. First, I'm going to point you at something. If your CADLink don't look like this, you're gonna yell at me, and I don't want you to yell at me. So here we go. You're gonna go up here to Tools. Is it Tools? No, Devices. No, I'm wrong. Where am I supposed? Yes, Tools. You're gonna go to Options, and you're gonna go this button right there. See this one right here? This button right here. I want you to click on this. Show Advanced Options. See it? I want you to click on that, and then you're gonna hit Save and Close. I don't care about anything else. If you want to change anything else, you do that. But that's the one I want you to change. And the reason I want you to change it, because when you come here and open this up, I want you to be able to see. I want your thing look like that. See how mine look? I want yours to look just like this. All right. If you don't click that button, yours will never look like this. All right. So I want you to look like that. And there's other options in here somewhere else that you won't see other things. So I want them to look just like this. So when you look at my CADLink and your CADLink will look the same. All right. Now, settings. Let's start from the top. You can general. You don't have to change anything. Media, hot files. You don't have to change anything. One day I'll actually make a video on how to use all this stuff. Printer reserve. You don't have to change anything. Anything up here you don't really have to change. I wouldn't recommend changing it unless you really want to. Again, that's up to you. One day I'll make a video on how to use CADLink in here. All right, so layer profile. This is where we're going to start changing stuff. All right, color layer, and we're going to go layer profiles first thing. Now, if I've heard people talk about soft prints and soft prints and soft prints and soft prints and all these soft prints. This is a nice soft print. Look how that crushes and feels nice and soft. Stop worrying so much about soft DTF prints. Okay, stop doing it. There's a couple things that make DTF prints soft. You can make them heavy. All right. You can make them thick. But when it comes to soft DTF prints, it's all based on how well you bake it. That's it. How well it was baked. If this powder, let me get a print. If the powder you put on the back of this thing is not baked properly, I don't care what you do, it will never feel soft. So, I highly recommend, highly recommend you get yourself a DTF oven. Or something close to it. Because you'll never get your print soft if you're not baking this powder correctly. All right? You can buy all them other powders and all them other garbage if you want to. They're all gimmicks. Okay? I've used so many DTF powders, as you can as I'll show you, and you guys have seen, as well, you have seen, and everybody has watched my videos have seen, I've used many different inks. So I've used many different inks. So I've used many different powders. I bought inks that come with powders. I bought powders, sheets that came with powders. I bought the printer you saw in my printer video that came with powder. I bought powder separately by itself. So don't tell me about sheets and softness and whatever. It has nothing to do with the powder. It's how well you bake your powder. All right? It's how well you bake your sheets. Your prints, not your sheets, your prints. How well your prints were baked. All right? You have to bake them properly. They have to be baked properly. And if you're not baking them properly, drying them and baking them properly, they'll never be soft. I don't care who you are. What hole you crawl out of, you ain't gotta believe me. Again, your choice. Because all my prints are soft. All right. Now, so, and which brings me to my point here, flood level. If you want to, the reason why I don't turn my, everybody's like, why? Y'all probably asking, why is my flood level so high? My flood level is high because I like my highlight colors. You see how my colors are nice and high? These are what do you call it? You call it neon colors or bright colors, whatever. They still look like neon. They don't look like white coming through them. Well, to get colors to stay like this, you have to flood your colors. Yes, you have to make sure you have enough ink coming through with these colors. If you want to gradient colors, you know how people say, "Oh, you can't gradient DTF." That's a myth. You can gradient DTF. I have gradient DTF, and I'd find one, but I have to stop this video and go dig through like a ton of sheets to find one. And I have one that's actually gradient, and that looks just as when I put it on a computer when I was designing it. You can gradient DTF. It's not impossible. You have to flood your colors, and you have to have the right print quality, the right print settings to gradient your colors. All right. So don't think you can't gradient DTF. It's very possible. Now, I don't gradient my colors, and again, oh my goodness, I'm gonna waste this print. Hold on. I've shown this before, and I'll show it again. Show it again. I'm gonna waste this print. I don't like to waste them, but I'm gonna waste it anyway. Another one. Yeah, waste this print. So, people, person. I don't know if you can see this, but look how thin that is. Can you see how? I hope you can see how thin this is. If you can't see how thin this is, print one. Print one for yourself. Cure it. Peel it off and look at it. This thing is thin as hell. It's extremely thin. Okay? There's nothing here. Don't turn down your flood. You're only making your prints look like garbage. Don't turn that thing down. All right? Don't turn it down. Leave your flood high. That's my personal opinion. You do you. If you want to follow somebody else, you go ahead. But don't turn your flood down. Leave it high. And I don't change anything on this page. I just go to the next one. Print options. This is the only page I actually kind of sort of make changes. Let me turn this light back off. This is the only page I kind of sort of make changes. Now, only change I make on this page is I like to turn my white under black down to 60 because I don't like my blacks to look like they're washed out. Let me see. Okay, see? If you look here, I hope you can see this because I can't see my camera. We're just seeing my computer screen. I can't see my camera. So, if you can see, you see how the white and then there's little black spots all around my thing. Yeah, there's very little white here. And I do that on purpose. The reason why I do that is when I print my prints, my blacks still look black. That's my personal preference. You can change that to flood out. You can change it to whatever coverage on the base. You can change it to whatever you want to do. You can change this to like 100. Today they give you 100% strength. I like to use 60. I just like the way the blacks look when I'm done. It's my personal preference. You can change that to whatever you want. You have to play with that. Okay? That's something you have to play with. Maximum white ink, it depends on the ink you're using. That's something I noticed. White inks are made differently from different manufacturers. So it depends on the white ink you use. You're gonna keep playing with this until you find that white ink that you like. Plus, if your printer is set up differently from mine, where you take your rails out, my rail's still in there. My roller rails, my printer still has the roller rails in it. I leave them in there because I like the way my printer prints with the roller rails. Like I say, I don't have head strikes because of that. I left and the person who followed the one person I know, again, the one person I know that followed the way my printer set up, he don't have head strikes either. Right? So there's that. If you don't set up your printer the way mine set up, then you may have head strikes. You get what I'm saying? I don't know. And if you have head strikes, you might have to worry a little bit more about your whites and your blacks and all these head setups. But that's what the roller rails thinks. Now let's get back. Let's get back to the white ink thing. Now with the white inks, you have to play with it because of how white inks are. Manufacturer makes white inks different ways, and you have to play with them. Then you find your white ink strength. That's something you have to find for yourself. I can't tell you what that is because I don't know what ink you're using. Right now, the ink I'm using, that's the maximum white ink I can use for it. The one I was using before, it was up to, I think, 75. That's where I had it. This one I'm using now, I think it was the one. Yeah, the one I'm using now is the one from Pro Colored, and I have to turn it down to 63 because the whiting come out a little weird and it's thick, so I have to turn it down. You know what I'm saying? Different whitings behave differently. This is why I'm telling you, you have to know what your whiting does. I think Sindel, I had it up to 70%. So different whitings behave differently. So you have to know what your whiting does, and then you figure out what percentage you want it at. This is a total preference. These two options are total preference. So I can't tell you, oh, do this or do that. This also right here has to do with your printer. I don't know what your printer can do. Your choke settings, and that's what the choke settings. What it does is when you're printing your whites, it just tells how much where the white your underbase goes, where to stop it. So your prints here, and then your white will stop behind it. All right, that's what the choke does. So if your choke is too little, right? So mine is 4. So if it's 0, the whites will be out here. But if it's 4, it chokes it back. You know what I'm saying? I hope you get that. So in retrospect, if your printer's aligned properly, your choke can be less, right? I really hope I'm explaining this properly. So if your printer is aligned properly, again, if your printer's aligned properly, where the color and the white is printing aligned, color, white, they're printing aligned, your choke can actually be 0. So because they're printing dead on top of each other. Because my printer is not printing aligned, they're printing off like a little bit. I have to choke my white in. right? So in other words, here's a color, one end of color, the other end of the color. Here's my whites. They're printing off like this, right? So the whites, one end of the whites over here, the other end of the whites behind cut thing. So I have to choke the whites. I have to take the white now and bring it in like so. So to bring the white in, so I have to choke it, right? Choke the white in like so, and then bring it in so it prints. When the white prints, it prints behind my colors. So it's not hanging off either end. That's what that choke means. All right. So I hope you get that. I hope you understand what I'm. That's why my choke is so high because my printer. I tried to align it, but it's just not aligning. And I know there's a way to align it in Catalink, and I'm not sure where it is. I've been playing around, and I just haven't had the time. Like I told you, I'm just the days I can't take care of myself, so I just haven't really had the time to play with it. And no, I'll find it. I'll find it one day where that option is, and I'll show everybody where it is. But I know the option is there to align them, and I'll find it. Watch, I'll find it. So as soon as I find it, I'm gonna put my choke back to 0 and align everything, and I'll be good to go. So then I go print options. Now this is why I want your print to look like your setting options to look like mine. Q properties to look like mine. When you come to resolution, this is you're gonna start off here. Now, can you choose? Yeah, you're gonna start off here, and then you're gonna choose one of these two top ones. All right. You can choose any of the two. I don't care which one you choose. The choice is yours. All right. You can choose small dots or big dots. I choose big dots. I just choose it. I never actually tried small dots. You can choose big dots. You can choose small dots. I never tried the small dots. The reason why I never tried the small dots because Catalink is actually set up with big dots. Their color profiles actually set up for big dots. And that's why I chose the big dots up here. If you want to try the small dots, see the color profile is just fine. You can try that. But I just chose what Catalink color profile was set up for. That's the whole reason why I used it. I just went with, well, Catalink color profile is set up for big dots. Let me just use big dots. Less headaches. That's the whole reason why I want to do it. And like I said, I'm not, why break the mold if I don't have to break it, right? It's working perfectly fine. I love the colors. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. There's no need to. Their color profile is perfect. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. I love their color profile. So I just left it. Big dots is big dots. Select that one. Good to go. Everything else. And then this line. Now, do you see which one I chose? I chose fast. Why would this crazy person choose fast? Because you don't need anything else. I guarantee you don't need anything else. Fast is optimal. The resolution is so good you don't need anything else but fast. Because we changed that option in the print mode, in the printer driver queue, remember that thing we just changed it in the very first thing we changed in the printer drivers? Yes, just that. So when you print fast, it will literally solve this problem right here. And I'm telling you, I haven't had a problem since I've been printing. And I'll get you, give me 2 seconds. I'm going to get you something that was printed in that print mode. Hold on. Look at that. Look at that. I just want to show you one thing that was printed in that print mode. This was also printed in that print mode. But I want to give you something else. It was printed on fast. That was printed on fast. Yeah, I know picture shows no justice. I'm telling you, that makes 1440 by 720 look like pure garbage. I am not happy with anything I printed in the past couple in the past. I'm not happy. Now that I've learned this, I am not going back. You can go back if you want to, but I ain't going back. All right. Then you're gonna go plain. You don't need no more than that. I'm telling you, you don't need no more setting than these. You don't need it. You don't need it. Anything else is overkill. When I say overkill, I mean overkill. But you can do if you want to. Choice is yours. Hey, I'm not judging you. You do you. So, rubber feeder, of course, you're gonna put it from the back. Bidirectional. Again, see, now you see why we wanted bidirectional turn on? Because you want to turn on in here. If you turn on into printer settings, it's never gonna work here. I do one white pass. You don't need more than that. Again, you do you if you want more than one white pass. You can turn it on here. You can do two. Choice is yours. And everything else down this list, you don't have to touch. You don't have to touch any color adjustments. Now, if you really want to, like for instance, your blues or reds is not as red as you want it, you can actually go in here and mess with that and change it if you want to. I don't do it. Color curve, you can change your white how you want it. White to go. I don't know why anybody wants to mess with this. Like I said, CADLink has, to me, spot on color corrections. That word. Profiles. Color profiles. I haven't had to change them. I haven't had to touch them. Max Ink. I haven't had to touch this either. ICC profiles. If you want to put your own profiles in, this is where you do it. I haven't had to change this profile at all. This is the standard profile that came with CADLink, and I haven't changed it. This is literally what I got when I installed CADLink, and I haven't changed it one bit. When I say their profiles are awesome, I've changed it, and it's awesome. I haven't changed it. I'm repeating myself 100 times. This is how important this is. Haven't had to. Didn't have to do anything. I don't have to sit there and play with it for hours, try to get these right color profiles. Whatever. I just print and go. Design my designs, transport it in here, and I print, and it comes out exactly the way I designed it. Love it. Now, the only thing I click in here that I do click because I want to is this one right here. Apply ICC to grayscales. And I do it, and when I click it and I actually applied it, it actually works great. I love it. And I just pièce de résistance. I love it. But again, these are all my options. You can choose whatever you want to do. This is what I do. And I just love the way it prints. I just love the way CADLink does things. I can't complain, apart from their business model, which is their business. If they want to run it to the ground, that's their choice too. Hey, who am I to judge? Halftones, I've never actually used halftones. Honestly, I've never actually used it. But if you want to use it, you can use it. And then variable dots, I messed with this once and I removed it. Oh my goodness, people calling me. And ink removal, I've never actually used this either because I've never had to. Like I said, I do all my designs outside of CADLink and then I bring them in. And once I bring them in, I just print them. I've never had to use none of this stuff. But if you want it, they're there. And then costing, performance. Like I have to make a video about all this stuff one day, and eventually, if anybody ever wants me to make one, you can just leave a comment, say, hey, yeah, just make a video. I will. But for right now, I just want to keep it to the 1440 by 1440. And then that's all the computer stuff. That's it. Once you're done, you hit create your print mode, and that's it. I already have mine created. I don't want to change anything. I think I changed something here. I don't want to mess with it. So I'm not going to create. You hit your create your print mode. It's going to pop up a thing. Tell you create it. Then once you create it, then you're good to go. And then that's it. That's literally it. All right. So I'm gonna hit cancel because I don't want to save it. And then you can just import your images and start printing. All right. Oh, and don't forget when you create a new print mode, always go to queue and set ink order. Always. Just make it a habit. Every time you create a queue, every time you create a new queue or whatever it is, just go up here, ink order, and just let's do this ink order thing. I've noticed if I don't do this, I end up with bad colors and I wonder if CAD-Link's doing something stupid, but it's not CAD-Link. It's we're the one creating the problems. Oh my goodness. We're the ones creating the problems. So no, it's not CAD-Link, it's us. So just do this, and I guarantee you, you will not have problems. All right. So every time you create a new queue, go up, set ink order, and you don't have to do anything. Just literally just come up here. You just select the queue you want to make the changes to. Go to queue, set ink order, and just hit OK. That's it. And it will save. As long as it's a save printer and the ink order is correct, you're good to go. CAD-Link will just update that ink order and you're set. All right. So that's all I got for the new so far. And like I said before in the beginning, I am working on getting my brain cells settled. I gotta line up, get all my P's and Q's together, cross all my T's and dot some I's. And I will get that lined up and I'll start getting everything together and I'll start hopefully, if I don't lose my stuff, yeah, I'll try to get as much of that information down as I can to start piecing these videos together, so I can start pushing out the information you need to actually do the actual physical printer part of it. And I might come up with the order list before I do anything else, so y'all can actually get the parts you need to get this build going, so that when I come out with an actual video to do it, you have all the parts you need to actually do it. Instead of, oh, here's the thing, and then you don't have the parts. So I might just do it in order where I do the printer section first, so y'all can start the printer section. Now you can actually test it. And then when the parts come in, then I can do the parts list. So you can order the parts. And then I do the actual piece, how I put them on. So then you can actually, when you have the parts, you can actually put them together the way I did mine. Or if you want to come up with different ways, then that's up to you. All right. So till next time, peace.